experience today. I ran into other people that were like me in some sense of the way. And they said, oh, but they had higher ranks and they were still involved in the game. And I looked at them and I said, hey, how you doing? Ha 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 ha. And they just shut the fuck up. And I was like, that was odd. But looking back on it, it's because they think because I have this on my arm and I have that on my arm and I have whatever it is on my fucking chest, they can see every part of me. And they're expecting me to come up like I'm experiencing a police officer. Oh, yes, sir. No, sir. Of course, sir. But I'm a civilian. And the first time I ever dealt with the military as a civilian, I had fucking written a letter because they were screwing me over on my college money. And I wrote a letter and I said, yeah, and I talked about how, maybe they should give me some money for being a poor Polak. And I get a letter back saying, we did everything we could. Can't make it happen. Your money's not there. I'm like, you fucked me. And so I said, okay. I wrote that desert one. Freudian slip. I wrote that letter when I was in the desert in Saudi Arabia still. And before we went into Iraq. And I got letters back saying, nothing we can do about it. And so when I got back from Iraq and I said, fuck you, I got out, I wrote another letter and I wrote it all the way up to the goddamn President of the United States, George H.W. Bush. I said, you took my money. I want it back. And I used recruiters and evidence and all the stuff that was there. Because as a hoarder that's organized, look at this. You see any organization here? Look at that fish. I know exactly where it's at. As a hoarder and as an organizer, you know where your shit is. And they called and woke me up and said, you're right. And then I started getting letters back from these goddamn congressmen that I wrote to while I was in Saudi before going into Iraq, because it was a year out. And I was like, I know I'm going to need to have my college money. I'm going to have to do something when I get out of here. The only reason I joined this goddamn thing was because I didn't know what I was doing. Give me some fucking money. Give me direction. And I got a letter back. I got a phone call at 8 o'clock in the morning saying, your money is in the bank. I wrote a letter to the president. Have you ever done that? And did it do anything for you? You can't fuck around with the president with bullshit. Make it real. Make it something that says this country's a better place. And so I'm walking into this place. I'm like, oh, might as well put my fucking headgear on. And I see these guys. It's the first time I've ever seen anybody else in a uniform, because most of these fuckers don't fit. Look at that. Fits like a glove. And so I start talking to this guy that's still in. He's a 20-year man in his process. He's still in. I got out 30 years ago. And I'm just like, ha 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 ha. And he's like, I don't know how to act towards a guy that still fits into his uniform, they just shut the fuck up. You look at the different rank processes, and I said to the whole fucking room, I said, looking at one kid, I said, yeah. Only fight for what is right. And beware of unlawful orders. And I just passed the fucking mic. Later, somebody said it behind my back, and I turned around and I realized he was trying to say it quietly just to see if I agreed. And I turned around and I said, and he said, that's good advice. And it is good advice. Be careful of the fucking people. Be careful of the people that tell you they don't need anybody to tell them how they think. You are the person that thinks. We think for ourselves. And so here I am, this guy that's a 20-year guy that's still involved. He's probably an E8 or something, master sergeant. He was in the Air Force, and he just ignored me when I talked to him. I said, and he said, And he answered me and he turned away. Why is that? Because you don't have any power over the military while you're in the military. It takes a civilian to tell the military what to do. And it's kind of backwards. It's something you have to understand on your own. But really, yeah. Nobody should be looking at what the military is doing. The military is its own deal. The military should not be ruled by any government. The military is the iron fist. The military says, hey, it's Armistice Day. It's about strategy. We've been calling Armistice Day Veterans Day for so long, just because if you call it Veterans Day, it sounds more aggressive. More hateful. Armistice Day, it's a day of peace. It's not even a day of peace. This is what you need to understand. Armistice Day is not a day of peace. If they say there's no more war after this, this is just saying we're going to stop shooting each other for a minute, and we'll figure out another way to fuck you up.